Hello, 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 and welcome to another Code Fun thing where we do code and we do fun. Today is Community Day, Friday, November 11. That is a lot of ones and twos. Um, I'm so tired. Um, just getting things set up as per usual. Thanks for the lurk, Clayman. I've been lurking on your stream, watching you putting together all of your cool skills that you're adding and being able to equip the stuff that you picked up out of those boxes today. I have the sound off, so I don't really hear what you're talking about. I still am making sure that, of course, the stream itself is the volume on that is turned up so that you get the credit for me being there as an active watcher. But um, I have the tab muted because I'm in hyper focus mode, and actually, I'm kind of struggling today with needing to make a decision. I know it's Community Day, and I want to honor all of you and show my appreciation for every single one of you. But the product is going to launch on the version 2.0 that I've been working on is going to launch on December 5th, which means that we need to have everything to cybersecurity by next Wednesday. So they have 2 weeks with the holiday in there, and yeah, it's gonna be crazy. We're also working on getting back our localization strings from the localization team, pulling them in, and then needing to find out if there were any new localization strings that came up while I've been doing some more UI integration. Yeah. So there was a conversation that happened on Wednesday where the product owners from the client side were like, so what's been taking you guys so long? You need to pick it up. You need to go faster. And I'm like, faster than I'm already going? It's like, yeah, you need to go light speed. And I'm like, I'm already going light speed. I'm already producing a lot more than many developers in this position would probably have done. And you want me to go faster than that? What's faster than light speed? Warp speed, obviously. So I'll go warp speed, sure. So I'm starting to feel a bit of pressure from the client. And I don't know if it was that they were joking or half serious, but it doesn't matter. I mean, they're putting pressure on me by saying that, and I don't like it. But that's okay. So what I did last night was I had a PR that was pending review, and the person that reviewed it was like, well, here's some deadlock situations that you might want to be aware of because of the way that you're passing in state and the way that you are calling this from potentially a background thread as well as the UI thread. And we want to make sure that this variable that you're using over here does not cause a deadlock situation. I'm like, yeah, I definitely consider those things, and that's why I have this switch in here. And he's like, well, you need to start using locks for those. And I'm like, I would. However, I don't think that this situation would need one because of its usage. But if you want that, then we can go ahead and try to implement it. So then I created a lock around a part of the process. And what I didn't realize while we were creating it together was that lock when you create a lock around a process, that lock or the functions inside of it can't be async. And so the thing that I'm trying to avoid is locking up the UI thread by having all of these synchronous calls. And if I want to use a lock, then I'm going to have to lock the UI thread. And I don't want to do that. So anyway, it still worked out. We were able to get the, oh yeah, long story short, we were able to get the PR approved. However, it was stuck in the CI, and all of the automated checks that happen, and the thing that happens in the CI build, which I'm starting to argue against, at least for PRs, is it's creating the installer files, sending them to the server to get signed, and there are like 4 installers. There's an APPX, the MSI, the setup.exe, and then the application itself, the exe for the application. And all of those need to get signed, plus all of the libraries need to get signed even before packaging them up. So it kept stalling on that and then timing out, and then I went back and I reran it, and it would make it further, but then it would time out again, and then I would rerun it, and then it'd get stuck on the first one, and then I'd go back and rerun it. So it took me about 7 tries of about 40 minutes each before it finally passed, and I was able to merge the PR. So good news is I merged the PR. Bad news is, if this is going to happen every single time now for PRs, it's it's going to make developing a lot slower. I mean, I was still able to create a branch and then start work on the next part of the process that I wanted to do. However, there were still some changes from this PR that I wanted to have in my new development. So I was waiting on the PR to be able to get merged so that I can merge it with my current dev branch. And then that had a lot of conflicts because I was starting to touch files that were just now getting checked into master, and I had made my new dev branch off of master instead of off of my... So what I'm thinking of doing... Hello, I mean. What I'm thinking of doing is, I can't remember who told me about it, but they use Git flow. I'm thinking of doing that for myself. I know that the team doesn't want to use it because it seems like overkill to them, but I'm going to have one working branch, one working dev branch, and I'm going to branch off of that for all of my feature work, all of my story work, all of my current development stuff, merge that into my feature branch, and then and then try to merge my dev branch, and then merge my dev branch into master, which will have me, of course, merge from master into my dev branch first. And then that way my dev branch, when I'm ready to do the next effort, as soon as I do that PR, then I could branch off of the dev branch for my next feature. If I have stuff coming back for review, I'll fix that in the dev branch, and then that'll get updated in the PR. And then once that is, and every time that I update that, I'll merge it back into my current dev branch. You know what I'm trying to say. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. Anyway, today's community day is what I was trying to get at. So what community day means is we will be inviting anyone in our community to hop into our Discord. I have a voice channel in there. One of the voice channels is called Stream Waiting Room. And then if you don't have direct access to the stream room, then I will pull you into the stream room. Can you just start over? Of course I can. Of course I can. So yeah, if you have some topics that you feel like talking about today, I may end the stream early because I really need to get this thing done before next Wednesday. And in fact, it's before next Tuesday because the client wants to review the app that we're going to be sending to cybersecurity. So they need an install on Tuesday's daily build. And yeah, I'm just so close. And I'll find out whether I can tell you guys what the product is when it's launched. And you will be free to check it out when it's done, when it's out there in the wild. But December 5th is when we're supposedly launching the 2.0 version. It's nothing special, and it's yeah, it's just a lot of fun because I was able to do Blazor UI work in a desktop application. That's what makes it fun. Okay, I'm gonna go to this screen. Oh, good grief. Oh, yeah. The other thing that happened was, I don't know if it was during yesterday's stream, I can't remember, or Wednesday's stream, but I was invited to help out another team with a situation they were having with pipelines, Azure DevOps pipelines. And so I participated in that meeting on Thursday morning, yesterday morning, gave them some of my immediate suggestions by reviewing what it is that was happening. So I didn't have any information beforehand. So I was reviewing it and I'm like, I'm not really a DevOps person. I just want you to know they're inviting me here because I like to do problem solving. I try to help out where I can, and I have resources that I can reach into to ask for help. And so I got the problem statement. I gave them some suggestions. They had already tried everything that I could suggest, that I knew to suggest off the top of my head. So then I went into our Discord, and live coding and Broken Sword both gave me some really good feedback and help with that. I provided that to them in a nice summary type style, and they've been going off of that and trying things, and oh man. It's craziness. It's all craziness. So I will still mention it here, what the underlying issue is, in case there is anyone in the future that has suggestions, and hopefully near future, or anyone that's currently on the stream participating and watching and being here. The issue that is going on is they have an Azure DevOps pipeline that is doing their CI, and part of the pipeline is to use a variable group. Actually, they have a ton of variable groups. I only saw one of them that they were concerned with, but they have variable groups where they've defined this variable name should match this value. It's a React application that's being deployed to Kubernetes cluster. I think they kept using the word pods. So I'm very unfamiliar with Kubernetes and containerized deployments and stuff. So they have 2 containers that they're deploying the app to, the front end of the app, and that's the only one that we were caring about. So in this variable group that they're concerned with, they're changing the value of one of the variables, and that is being used in a .env.dev file, which sounds like it's some way to configure the React app or to pass environment variables to the React app. And the other thing is that they are using a .config map, which sounds like it is used for configuring environment variables in the pod that it's getting deployed to. And again, if I'm saying these terms incorrectly, please forgive me, but I am very unfamiliar with this process. So the point is, when they modify this variable, let's say that it's something that actually displays on the web page, like a title as content. They're pulling it from this .env.dev file, which is kind of like it looked like a whole bunch of key value pairs that are similar to our app settings.json in a .NET application. And they are trying to use that to display the information. So they change the variable value, and it doesn't show up in their deployed project after the next CI. However, when they hard code all of the values in the .env.local, for example, and then they point their project.json
to that .env.local, then they can see the updated values show up on their page after the next CI CD. Yeah. So that's essentially the problem statement. The things that they've tried are accessing the site from a completely different machine that's never accessed the site before to make sure that it's not cached values that they're getting. Made sure that they don't have any Redis or CDNs that could be caching it. Made sure that they've cleared their local cache for the machine that they've been testing on for the most part. So those are the primary things to make sure that it wasn't browser cache type related situation. They have made sure that there are no duplicate variable names across the variable groups that that application is using. So they're making sure that it's not getting overwritten. I believe by this point, with all of the information I keep getting back, they have been able to look at the actual Kubernetes. Again, I remember them using the word pod, so I'm going to use the word pod. In the Kubernetes pod, they were able to see that the environment variables are getting updated there, I think. But I don't know for sure because I wasn't part of the rest of the meeting. I was only with them for 30 minutes and then I provided feedback and they've been emailing. They spent 3 hours from 10 p.m. until 1 a.m. last night, our time, which was something like 9:30 a.m. to, no, 11:30 a.m. 10:30 a.m. Yeah, 10:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. India time. Whatever it is. I think it's 12 and a half hours. Anyway, they were working on it with an actual DevOps person from onshore. And he was working through it with them. He couldn't figure it out at the time, but he gave them more suggestions on top of what Broken Sword and Live Coding gave to me to give to them. And they are very appreciative. It's really cool. They're like, thank you for the suggestions. We have tried this and this and this, but we will look into doing this and this and this, and doing the curl, doing the Kubernetes command, CLI command for, yeah, making sure that the deployment has the right values in the environment that it's running on. Okay, that's it about me. So, as I mentioned before, voice channel is open. So if anyone has any technical topics or programming related topics or projects that you're working on or anything that you want to share with people, then feel free to hop into the stream waiting room, or if you have direct access to the stream room, then the stream room directly. And I'll pull you into the stream room if you're in the waiting room, and we'll have a conversation about whatever topic you have in mind. The main thing I have in mind is, well, now it's 3 things, and it's bogging me down a bit. Number 1 is getting this app fully complete, feature complete for Wednesday, by Wednesday. Oh, I'm so close too. And then I'm going to do some UI cleanup. So there's that. The second one is escaping me. And the third one is the metaverse, of course. Because I just had my second group meeting where we had a mood board session and a creative storm session. And oh, it was so cool. It's such a cool group. They're all so excited about this. I'm definitely in the right place with them. It's so good. It's going to be fun. Anyway, and I also wanted to greet Tiger Pleb. It's taken me this long to do so. But hello, Tiger Pleb. Hope you're having a great day. I'm still stuck on the lookup item thing with trying to get my lookup list service to be more robust and can in a way that it can get the correct values for my lookup list, because everything that I'm sending to it currently is coming in as an account. Any .NET 7 migrations? Tiger Pleb wants to know. Answer, yes. So we've already upgraded this project to .NET 7. Our team for my work product is talking about going to .NET 7 for the next release, right after this 2.0 release. So that's going to be our next effort. That's going to be a lot of fun. I upgraded my bot to .NET 7. And one of the things that we have in .NET 7 was part of the connection string, which I'm surprised that had, I don't know that I've actually checked that. Part of it is Entity Framework's update, where I don't think it accepts self-signed certificates anymore. .NET 7. So one thing that was happening a lot is I was getting the server does not, the authentication happened, but the server did not trust the certificate. That's a not implemented exception. That's not it. I bet you when we get to the actual database part of it, we're going to get it doesn't trust it. So one thing we can do to fix that is in our app settings or secrets, wherever you have this, instead of just trusted connection, you also need trust server certificates or something like that, right? Is that what it was? Yeah, absolutely. So Tiger Pleb was mentioning going from 6 to 7 is a lot easier than going from any of the .NET frameworks to .NET Core. Yeah, because there aren't as many libraries that you'll need to replace going from one version to the other. Unless, of course, you've only been depending on .NET standard libraries, which would be awesome. Then it'll be just as easy either way. But what is the thing that goes here? I'm pretty sure it's trust server certificates. You like to click manage user secrets. Show me values. Survey says trust server certificate. I was so close. It is not plural, it is singular. Okay, but I also need to do this in my secrets. So I'm going to open up my secrets on screen. He did it. I can't believe he just showed his secrets. Okay, pasta you there. Let me make sure that I copied this semicolon. I didn't. So I need to add a semicolon and then pasta you there. Cool. Okay, so that should fix my database connection. Any issues that I might have had in the database connection are now thwarted. I wonder if I have... Ooh, that's going to be a thing. I don't actually have a connection string for when we were running in Maui. Oh, because it's using the API, so it's fine. Prog testing is saying I tried .NET 7, but Mud Blazor was not compatible. Really? So I had to stop my adventure. They don't have a version that's compatible with .NET 7 yet? That's kind of surprising. You would think that a component... I'm going to call them a component vendor, even though they are... Hello, Thindle. How are you doing on this fantastic Friday? It is the 11th. It's also Veterans Day in the US. So Happy Veterans Day to any of you that served. I hope that your contributions to the welfare of this country have been recognized. But yeah, component vendors. I'm gonna call them Blazor component vendor, even though their stuff is free. But you would think that the major component vendors would be upgraded to .NET 7 even before its release. Oh, Findle just got a shout out. If you guys are not following Findle already, there will be a heart icon way up there. Well, actually, the icon now shows up for everyone, regardless of whether you're following. So if you click on that heart icon and it's green, you will unfollow him. Please don't do that. Otherwise, yeah, if it's not green, then click on it. Follow him. He's a great developer. He's working on modernizing legacy applications. And they had a new tool for you, Thindle. Were you able to watch that session on the was it in place migrator? Not the in place migration tool. They have another tool that they just deployed along with an update to the upgrade assistant. So there's an upgrade assistant that helps you do an in-place migration, and then there was that other tool that they showed. What? That wasn't a change I made, was it? Oh my goodness, where's my mouse? Oh, I'm not going to be able to check that now. I think it does work with web forms. That's a hard one. I remember we discussed it before. I would still like it doesn't matter. You can take oh my gosh, finish a sentence. You can take your code base, put it in a different folder, and then run the upgrade assistant in that folder and see if it works with your proj file. Guy, I am not available right now. You know that I'm not available right now. So no, not gonna answer. This guy. I need to wait for this to stop ringing. Oh my gosh. I'm not really gonna have a choice. I need to check my PR to see if I'm the one that caused the question that he's trying to ask me. Keep trying. Keep trying. Still not gonna answer. In fact, I'm just gonna mute that. Okay. My PR is where? Repos. This one. Pull requests. Closed. Automated scans? Automated scans. Files changed. Net system. I did not check in a net system, so I have no idea why you're trying to ask me. I will look at chat in 12 seconds. Files. Net. Yeah, this guy's on crazy. Go to file. He's on crazy. Maybe he's looking at someone else's PR and they put. So we have two different repositories. We have a repository for our libraries and backend stuff, and then a um, we have a the UI project and the front end project and the thing that we deploy, the thing that we create the setup file for, and the installers and all that stuff. And he's saying that one of the folders from one of the shared packages is included in this other repo. So from this repo, we have a folder that's somehow ending up in this repo. That is not the case. I just checked. I have no idea what he's talking about. And even in my feature branch, what? Actually, in my feature branch, it's showing up. Can I see your history, please? What are the chances that because it's a reference project, has anyone upgraded to the latest version of Visual Studio with multiple Git repos, with a solution that has multiple Git repos? Because they added the multi-repo Git version control stuff. And I think what we're seeing is if we do an open folder in File Explorer, this is still going to be in the other repos path, which it is, but it's referenced by this solution. That's what I thought. And who did that? Who added this as a reference? That would be in the solution file, the history for the solution file, right? View history, probably this one. Where do we see? So where did this show up first? Yep, in the driver update. Okay, so don't know why he was trying to contact me about that, but it's a not me thing. Okay, let me catch up on chat, including the answer to my most recent question. We have a new chatter. You've probably been here before and maybe hanging out quietly, but thank you for saying hello. He says, I want to start, or Raymond Mubayid, Malbayid says, I want to start learning HTML and CSS to build websites. Do you know any good courses? And he's got some feedback. It's a great day to ask that because today is Community Day where I want to focus on all of you, especially those of you that are interested in learning any kind of development. It doesn't even have to be .NET. I do strongly recommend Blazor if you're going to do web development. It's such a great and robust framework, project type stuff, and it's so much fun to build applications with. Prog Testing says, I was going to showcase some new WebAssembly stuff today, but it broke when I got up this morning. No. Well, if you do happen to get it up and running, gosh, then just let me know. Then hop into the voice channel. I still kind of want to I want to end an hour early so that I can get back to this and maybe respond to my project manager. Oh, because I got to go warp speed. Thindle is saying basically 4 or 5 views left and then creating the EF Core 3, the last version that works on both Framework and Core. So yeah, it wouldn't matter needing to try to run it on your web forms project anymore because you're almost done. That's awesome. because then you can use the upgrade assistant going from .NET Core to .NET Core. So hopefully that will be an easier process for you. Thindle, oh my goodness, ignore him. PM's just getting in the way. No, this dude is cool. I mean, he goes off on things that are not relevant for the current task at hand that I'm currently working. He does try really hard. Prog testing says, not available forever. That is my general stance in life. Okay, here is a response to Raymond. You could look at Free Code Camp. That would have been my suggestion. They have a lot of just simple, straight up HTML courses, HTML and CSS. There is a guy named Traversy Media. Traversy? Traversy. And if you can get past his kind of aggressive demeanor, I think is what I would call it. He's a really good resource for information. He has a lot of really good tips and tricks on doing HTML development, like just plain old HTML, CSS. He's got some good videos. W3 Schools is another great place, Thindle says. The Odin project has a section about getting a job as well, says Prog Testing. So I don't think I know what the Odin project is. So let's take a quick look at that. Oh, this looks cool. This looks like it is geared towards people that are brand new. Like, I wouldn't use this because I'm just not a fan of. But is there anything specifically just HTML and CSS basics? Because they're starting with Ruby. And they have an intermediate and advanced HTML and CSS, but no beginner HTML. But maybe Foundations will get you there. Yeah, but you have two paths. You have Ruby and you have JavaScript. So, so then to read out Thindle's full statement, W3 Schools is also a good place to start. They get a lot of flack, but that's because they oversimplify things to a fault. But it's an okay place to understand the absolute basics. Well, I still reference W3 Schools a lot. Like if you're looking for all of the attributes for a video HTML tag usage, one of the first things you're going to see is W3 Schools. If you look for anything HTML related, they give you the straight up, here's just a copy and paste thing. Here's all of the browser support. If you want more information, then go to the complete HTML reference. Which didn't really help because it just took us back here. But still, they're just upfront. Here's a simple answer. There you go. So yeah, they're good if you're just trying to figure out what controls you have, what HTML elements you can use on a page in your website. I've never seen any of their actual tutorials, but I'm sure that it would be good. I'm sure it'd be fine. Kevin Powell, great suggestion, Dukasoft. Kevin Powell on the YouTubes. Kermit the Frog. He always has a lot of really good tips. Oh my goodness. This guy. There are no glass options in the production version. They are debug only. But yeah, they have a beginner press foundations, and you'll see it. I did prog testing. Cool, thanks. Yeah, and definitely feel free to hang out in our Discord or at least join our channel. If you have any questions, there are no uh, dumb questions in our channels. Then feel free to go there if you get stuck on something or just want some advice on directions that you're going. But not a requirement. Not trying to pressure you into it. Just wanted to provide a resource for you for your learning path. We have a lot of really cool people that are supportive of anyone at any level. Oh, thank you so much for the follow. That's really nice of you. But yeah. All right. So then when I was asking about the multi-repo thing, Dukasoft is like, I only use one repo, not a pro. I only use one repo. But now let's say that I wanted to include my, actually I should be able to do this. Let's show this. Right now, I only have one repo in this solution, and that is my financial management repo. But let's say that I wanted to include my, what's it? What is it even called? Razor class library, Blazor components. I'll put one line components. And that is going to be some project references from get one line Blazor component library. And so now I'm going to have, it's whatever. Okay, so let's say that I have my Blazor component library in here. Now suddenly I have a multi-repo project. Oh, and you subscribed? Holy cow, that is super nice of you. Oh man, thank you so much for that. one line, one line dot x, one line dot x, arrows, one line dot. That's like 4 lions. 1 minute and 51 seconds. Man, well, thank you. I appreciate that so very much. And welcome to the Code Fun. Right now, it's an intermittent Code Fun. I used to stream my entire workday and every day of the week, but since getting a new job, the demand has been a little bit different, and I'm not allowed to share my client projects. And yeah. So I am only 2 hours a day, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 10:30 a.m. Mountain Time. I'm going to stop saying Mountain Daylight and Mountain Standard because I forget to update it when daylight savings happens. So right now that's currently UTC -7 since daylight savings happened on last Sunday. But yeah, if you see this, you will see that now this thing says down here 2 repos. Yeah, we definitely need to get rid of daylight savings. I hope it's still in talks. I mean, I know it's been in talks for a while, but there was some actual articles that came out saying they are really moving to getting rid of time zones because it doesn't fit our current cultural lifestyles anymore. But yeah, so you can see here that it's saying because I added this project that was in another repos folder on my local Git repository on this machine, then it knows that I am now working on 2 separate repositories, and I can choose what I want to commit when I want to commit it. That way, if I'm working in a project that depends on that library, then I could reference it directly and still be able to manage the code for that library and only check in the changes I make to that library or to both of them at the same time. And it's so, so cool. I love that so much. But yeah. So also time zones at all. Let's just be 1913 everywhere. Oh, like the way that you type out the time? Or are you talking about the year 1913? I'm kind of confused. Some people just need to work nighttime. Feels like a them problem. I don't think it's a them problem or an us problem. I think it's just something that would be nice to change. The actual time should be 1913. Yeah. So like right now, well, I guess right now it doesn't matter because it's still morning for me. But using 24-hour clock. Oh, all over the world at the same time. You want it to be Zulu. What is going on? I'm getting so many messages right now. And to be honest, it's a bit distracting. Distracted. It should always be 1913. I'm not 100% sure what Zulu is, so maybe yes. Zulu is also just an offset. Yeah, I know it's military time, but I thought it was lined up with UTC. It must be fun to live in space. I wonder what time it is. That does not sound fun to me. I already have problems with time as it is. Right. Okay, so you would still need to specify the UTC offset in Zulu time. What year is it? Who knows? How do you count? You use Earth years. You still, like, in order for humans to be humans, we need some frame of reference for time. I don't know why, but we do. So if you're in space and there is no concept of day-night cycles that are natural, then people usually still stick to, let's pick an Earth sample, at least in movies and TV shows. What date is it? Well, on Earth, it is. So this is our topic. We're talking about space-time continuum. No, which is a lie, by the way. Not a lie. It's just not the fundamental principle. It's not a fundamental. What's it called? It's just not foundational. There is something smaller or something that produces space-time. Just don't know what that is. We can measure time using the galaxy. Or we can just get rid of the concept of time. Then we'll stop aging because time will cease to exist. My goodness. My goodness. Make the email stop. Best regards, the doctor. No, I love abstract thinking. If that's the direction you guys want to go in on community day, I'm going with you. Oh man, I love it. It's so nice. Oh, I must finish my OpenCV integration. Okay, so the thing that I've been working on, and again, it's still community day. Feel free to bring up any topic you want. If you want to bring up topics using the voice channel, then please do. I only ask that you are considerate about the things that you say in voice channel. We need to have a little bit more control on keeping the topics neutral. Where did my line numbers go? There are a few things that happened in the Visual Studio update that are making me sad. And I'm running into them more and more as I'm doing my daily work. And one of them is, it seems like there was some regression on Razor. Line numbers is turned on. You saw that, right? Line numbers were not there until I just toggle them off and back on. There were some regression things happening in Razor files where I'm not getting squiggly lines on, for example, oh my goodness, we're even. Okay, so let's say that I did not have my reference for enums, which I think is in here. Apparently in Visual Studio Community, it'll give me the nice red squigglies, but on my work machine, it's just showing up as non-syntax highlighted anything. It's showing up as just regular text. No hoverability, no underline squiggly saying you have an error. And so that's happening a lot, which is making it really, really difficult to, like, one of the efforts that I'm doing with the code right now is I have I have two different skins, and one of those skins has two different themes. So by skin, I mean the thing that lays out how all of your elements look on a page, and a theme is what's the color look like, what does the font type, font face look like. So it's still laid out the same, it's just different colors. Um, so I have two skins, and then one of those skins has two themes, which means three total themes. And there were some overlap in components that I didn't know were shared between them until I started reviewing everything, and I'm like, hey, isn't that still the same component that I'm using in the other skin in this other place? I'll just turn that into a shared component. So then I move all of the content into a shared place, and I'm copying and pasting stuff, and I don't realize that like my localizations, which has this really cool thing on it. I wish I could share the localizations thing, because that one is an internal tool that we use for localizations, and it's so helpful. But, the short of it, without going into too much detail, is whatever you put in your resx file gets turned into a const. So the names in that, I'll show you my resx file. So this here would get turned into a const on a static object, and this would be the value. And then there's a dictionary for getting the actual localized version of that value. It's so cool. It's so good. So anyway, I'll have a string localized in one project, and then I'll move that component that uses that string into another project. And I would normally see that, hey, this localization context does not have that string. You haven't defined that for this project. So what do? You move it into that project, and then everything is good. But I don't get the messages anymore in my editor. Thindle is saying, what? Welcome to Fancy Notepad. Yeah, that's essentially what happens. Scott said, that happened to me too before the new VS update. Oh, wow. That's interesting. So maybe it wasn't part of the update, and now I'm just getting what everyone else had. There's GitHub section and options. There was? I didn't see it. I wasn't looking for that, so. What's in this GitHub section? Source control? Is this what you're talking about, or was there something somewhere else? There is something somewhere else. Oh, yeah, if you're using Copilot extension. Okay. Product testing said I had a ton of errors. For instance, oh, is NoDoc still working? Yes, I just use it. I just now went into a secrets file actually, and it's still working. Okay. Product testing was saying I had a ton of errors. For instance, removing WebAssembly Builder from the program.cs to remove errors. The errors are fake. They're what I call restart Visual Studio 5 times to fix. Yes. Then they'll say my brain can't deal with fonts where not equals is replaced with equals with a slash. Oh, you don't like the glyphs? They're not called glyphs, are they? Fonts and colors, Cascadia code. What are we on Cascadia code mono? So he is talking about. Why didn't that update my fonts? Ligatures. They're called ligatures. I remembered. Why didn't that update though? I don't know. But anyway, so ligatures are the thing where if you put two equal signs, it makes a long equals. If you do not equals, it does an equals with a slash through it. Less than, greater than is also not equals. And greater than or equal to turns into the greater than sign with the little bar underneath it. Less than, equal to, etc. You know what I'm talking about. I don't understand why it didn't automatically apply. The no thanks feature says Ducasoft. I definitely purposefully turned that off. I'm not a fan either. And then I was like, +2. Yes. Oh my goodness. All right. I think I need to start reading these emails. Yes, we talk. Oh my goodness. My goodness. There. Okay, so I would like to stress that this is not a Sagetti thing. This has very little to do with the company that I work for, Sagetti. These are my opinions only. So the team that I'm working with are very talented. They're smart. They're really good at what they do, especially the guys that are doing the back end driver related stuff, going swiftly from C# to C++ and doing all of the interoperability. That out of the way. There are so many politics that come with just about any team, especially when when your client is a large client that has multiple other consultancies working for them or contractors or whatever. And so there's this other team that I've been telling you guys about that has a product that they're wanting to integrate their functionality into our application. That's not a problem because the other team still has the product. They'll be maintaining the back end, the actual executable, and everything like that for that product. The UI for it, on the other hand, needs to be integrated into our application somehow to fire off those back-end processes. they are wanting to still control the UI portion of it because it's written in Angular and it has some pretty cool features. I like it a lot. But they're a completely separate contractor. We'll just call them contractors. They're a completely separate contractor, and they of course want to keep business of the client. Makes perfect sense. But they are asking for access to our repo that has our product so that they can get access to the UI, see how it's put together, and try to make their UI mimic ours. The client was like, all you guys should need is access to the design files, the Figma files that have the color schemes, the typing, typefaces, the sizes of all of the fonts and their usages, the icons that are being used, the layout. So we gave them access to that. And they're still asking for access to the repo. And I'm okay with that. However, because, I'm me and I'm predominantly a solo dev or was a solo dev until I started this job. So I'm not thinking about things like this, which is the argument that was given for them not having access is because they're going to look at our code and be like, oh, hey, client, we can do that exact same thing for you for cheaper than that other team is doing. So you can drop that other team. And then suddenly Sogeti is no longer the the developer for that client. And I'm like, I'm sure it's a thing that could happen in the real world, but I don't really see that happening. I don't. Ugh. Mm. I saw that you could export Figma into XAML styling files now. That's really cool. You just need to mark them properly. That's really, really cool. I mean, I'm not using XAML. We're using Blazor, but I still think that that would be cool for. No, I don't think that that would work either. So never mind. I was gonna say I think it would be cool for the shell itself, but that wouldn't work. It could happen. It shouldn't happen, but it could. Yeah. And I'm just like, I don't even think along those lines. I'm like, we have a client. The client has an ask, and we were asked to work with this other team. Not only that, but I was put as a lead for the UI portion of this, and I want to see it be successful for the client because that is who we are working for. So if that means working with another team who's going to work on part of it, okay. If that means the other team is now going to be, or we have a risk of the other team taking the work from us, why would they ask me to be a lead? And even if they did, we're a consultancy agency. We would just have to go to another project. But I'm going to do the best that I can for the client while I'm working for them. That's the only thing that matters to me. I'm going to do what I say I'm going to do. Yeah. I'm crazy like that. You're always crazy like that. This should be an auto property. Why should it be an auto property when I am. Why? I have special logic for the setter. Why would I want this to be an auto property? Get the job done. What if people try to focus on that for a week? That is a really good question, prog testing. That's my wonder. I would like to know the answer to that. And in fact, I would like to experiment with that and see what happens. Maybe, just maybe, we'll be able to release by the 5th. Wouldn't it be cool if. Goodness. And Thindle was asking, have you moved over to .NET 7 yet? And we did talk about that a little bit earlier. I moved this project over to .NET 7 and for the work project. So there are two issues with that. Number one is that the team that is trying to integrate into ours is on .NET 5, and they say that upgrading to .NET 6 is not a thing that they can consider because there are too many breaking changes going from .NET 5 to .NET 6. I'm like, okay, I believe you. I don't do any of the backend stuff, and I'm not working with the system level libraries that you're working with, so I believe you. And so that means that if we were going to integrate their project into ours, then we would need to ship the .NET 5 runtime and .NET 6 runtime, making our package size huge. The other option with that is just to ship their product as is, but we still need to ship their product as an executable, but we still need to include the .NET 5 runtime for their project and product. There's a lot of curious things, just curious things. I don't know. My eyes are just shifting over here because I can't look at you in the eyes when I'm complaining like this. I'm done complaining. Let's move on. The thing that I'm stuck on still is implementing my lookup list getters. And I don't know if you noticed on my most recent run, not only did it tell me that my service is not implemented, but something a little bit more important than that is my mustache is itching my nose. Mustache. It's how you say it in Yiddish. What? It's already in use. Is the app already running? Oh, the app's already running. Try again. Hello, Quantum TTV. I am doing well. It's a Friday. We're having fun. It's community day on this channel, so if you have any topics that you want to discuss verbally, feel free to hop into our Discord, join the stream waiting room, and I'll pull you into the voice channel where your voice will be able to be heard over the stream. One day I'll switch that over to guest star in case any of you are ever brave enough to use your camera as well. But I'm sure we could use guest star with voice only, so we can do all of the above. Okay, so the thing that this thing should do is query for our lookup lists as soon as we go to the data entry page so that all of them are cached for the dropdowns. And then it never has to look for them again. And it does it all at once, but it's supposed to do one for the payees, one for the line item types, one for account, one for deposit raisins, one for transfer. No, that's it. Yeah. But unfortunately, the way that I have it set up, all of them are being detected as request to / accounts. Because I'm using generics and it's not properly realizing that the type that I'm trying to get the lookup list for. What? Oh my goodness, you guys are being super duper nice. Thank you, Quantum. I really appreciate that. Appreciate that so very much. And Dukasoft was like, but then I would have to fix my hair. Protesting says, I'm brave enough, but I'm trying to fix the issues I have. Yeah, I understand. But we do this every Friday, so you can buy beef from subs today. What? I don't think I understand that. Oh, well, I really appreciate it, Quantum. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I haven't been streaming as much lately, so I feel bad about anyone that subscribes. Like, if you're trying to subscribe just because commercials are annoying, I recommend Twitch Turbo. It's a lot cheaper. But I do appreciate your subscription. I just want you to know that, just you saying thank you is more than enough. You don't even have to say thank you. You lurking here quietly, loudly, doesn't matter. That's enough. But I do appreciate the extra bit of subbing and even following. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, my finger spazzed. So here's my lookup item. My lookup item is a generic that keeps the original item that it's transforming into this lookup view model type of thing. Lookup item view model. And I even have a way to say the key for that item is going to be of a specific type. So the base type is a lookup item view model that has an integer for a key, and then the item itself is whatever you want, as long as it implements I has lookup list type. I have the same thing. It's nice when people sub, but it's 110% not necessary. Yeah, it's not like I'm making a living off of Twitch. True, yeah. Um, he says after just buying a 6-month sub. Wait, that was a 6-month sub? What? What? Oh, your seven month in a row sub. Or the actual sub was for 6 total. What? What? I'm sorry, what? Yeah, no, ask away. We will do. I don't want anyone to feel stupid when they ask a question. If it's something that you don't know about, the only thing that would be irritating is if you haven't tried finding an answer yourself. But that would that still wouldn't prevent me from trying to help you find an answer. Like, I don't need to know whether or not you've tried to look for an answer. The only thing that I need to know is what is your question? And can I help? I want to try to help wherever I can. So please ask away. And you know that if you're uncomfortable doing it on Twitch, then we have our Discord server that you can ask there as well. And we have a whole bunch of really, really cool people there that are so laid back and willing to help. In fact, I recently got help from our wonderful community there as well. Because it was DevOps related topics. And while I have done DevOps myself, like the main thing that I do is manage my GitHub repo as well as used Azure DevOps to create pipelines and a CI/CD cycle kind of thing. I'm still pretty rudimentary with my skills and knowledges of DevOps. Is there any problem if you use double instead of integer in coding? There could be. You might get running issues for integer values when you're intending them to be exactly on the integer. Um, so the better answer, I think, would be not really addressing your question, but just giving you a suggestion to use the data type that's appropriate to the object that you're working with. Well, I mean, it's a big issue with floats because floats are single precision, whereas doubles are double precision, but that still leaves room for rounding issues. I mean, it would take a bit to get to it, but the possibility is still there. So in the scenario that you're asking about, yeah, exactly. Very good. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was going to say, in the situation that you're asking about, is it just that maybe you're constrained to using something that someone else gives you and they've made it a double and you want it to be a whole number? Or do what I do and just use decimal? I have no idea what the backing field for that is. A decimal? The .NET class decimal? So yeah, so my issue is that I'm doing this completely incorrectly, where I have this lookup list type in my class that is not getting set by my items list type. And I don't think that that's the case. I think it's that my item that I'm providing is not providing the right list type. And the reason for that is actually is payees. Okay, so even payees is because all of my lookup list type things that implement I has lookup list are derived from a base class that I can't find called lookup item base. And that lookup item base is the one that's implementing this I lookup item. Oh, this I lookup item. But yeah, they all implement I lookup item and I has lookup list type. And the list type is not getting set appropriately by each of the implementing types. Or maybe it is. Oh, yeah, yeah. It's not. Where I'm telling them when you're initialized, set your parents lookup list type or call your parents constructor using this specific lookup list type. And that's not happening. So let's find out if we're even hitting that. For money, always use decimal. Massively sized amounts of monies. So smallest number of what? It's lossless. That's the point of it. That's a good phrase. I like the word lossless. They're right here on the screen. So 10 to the negative 28th to 7 point. Why does it say plus or minus? This confuses me. So this is saying any number between 10 to the negative 28th and 10 to the 10 to the negative 28th. Oh, okay, never mind. This is 10 to the negative 28th and this is 10 to the positive 28th. So, yeah, okay. It's still hard to wrap my brain around the way that they wrote this. It breaks my brain. No, I know what plus or minus means. What I mean is that it's a range that is a range to another range. So this is a range, this is a range, and this is a range. So it's a range of values between two ranges of values. What? Yeah, it's 16 bytes, so it's big. So if you're going to use them, then note that if you're storing it in a database, it's going to take up more space for that column. And also more if you're storing a lot of variables that are of that data type, then more memory. You're currently running, is what the issue is. Go. You can do magic. You can have anything you desire. Magic. I made a system where you could buy tickets and used integers. I'm okay with this. If all of your ticket prices are whole numbers, use integer. Whole numbers between -2,400,000 something thousand and +2,400,000. Mumble, mumble, mumble. $2,147,000,000. So 2,147,000,000. But aren't there still more numbers after that? Or is it exactly 2.147 million? A billion. It's 86753. Yeah. List type is null. What? Nuh-uh. Oh, because item is null. Because item is null. I'm confused. So we should be in the, what are we in? We're in the client implementation of get lookup items, and I think we're currently looking at trying to get the URL from this here. So this instantiated type, yeah, so I'm going to put that breakpoint back there. This instantiated type does not have an item. Oh, because I would also need to set item. Oh, I would also need to instantiate the actual item from my TLOOKUP item view model. How am I going to do that? I like the O's. Something like Kevin Powell. Something like type inst.item. No, you're not going to have an item because this is TLOOKUP item view model. So TLOOKUP item view model itself, which is just an iLOOKUP item view model, does not have T item. Or it would be this one here. We do not get T item in here. Man. All right, we're gonna brute force this and then we'll figure out if there's a way to make it cleaner, make it better. That makes me sad. So here's my brute force way, which is endpoint equals endpoint type of T lookup item view model switch. So I'm using a switch expression here. Nice. You're close. Not quite there. Pretty close though. And we're going to use, did I make an extension method? Oh, yeah, you're far. Sorry. You are not close. It is supposed to be T when T is type of, and then each of the things that I'm expecting to have passed in here. And this is where the hard-coded value just really, really makes me angry. So, like, for example, I know that I'm going to have an accounts view model as one of my lookup item view models. However, the rest of them are going to be in the form of lookup item view model. For this one specifically, the database lookup category entity type. And so again, this is already like the fourth or fifth place where if I add another lookup type, I'm going to need to remember to update this list. You're so right, Dukasoft. Dukasoft was like the workday of a dev. Tab, tab, tab. Almost. Edit, edit, tab, tab. There. Yes. Done. So true. So very true. Right, and you need the keyword var. Okay, so anyway, we have an account. I want to duplicate this one, please. I said I can't type anymore. I want to duplicate this one, and you are going to be a lookup account type. So I'm pretty sure though that I have a lookup list type. Yeah. So I think what I was doing was using the enum itself as my lookup list type. Yeah. Then when it gets toStringed here, endpoint type, then we get the correct endpoint based off of this enum instead of this magic string. I find myself agreeing with enum more. I still don't like the sound of it, but enum does make more sense to say it that way. Enumerator. This thing will help me figure out what all of them are. Deposit raisins, line item type, payees, and recurrence types. Kick. So now I make these all match. Deposit raisin, tab, tab, tab. Line item type. This is actually payee view model. And this one is recurrence types. I really don't like this approach. Does tab autocomplete without IntelliSense? I don't know if I'm fast enough to figure out. Actually, I can just push escape, just like I did. And the answer is no. So if you wanted to autocomplete when you don't have IntelliSense up, control spacebar. And then you can tab. Thanks for asking the question. We did an experiment and we found out, no, it does not. Sometimes I miss IntelliSense. Yeah, me too. Absolutely. I'll be filling something in, or I just erased part of something and I have no idea what the rest of it is supposed to be, so then control spacebar. I wonder if that works the same as... nope. Nope. Okay, control spacebar. Final answer. And if you're typing out a method, we'll just use the same. T lookup item view model. And you don't have the parameters list, control shift spacebar will give you this thing again with the parameters list, the method signature. I thought so. If you miss IntelliSense on occasion, you'd most likely be missing the method parameters. Whatever I just called it, the method signature. Distracted. Oh man. Yeah, I really love keyboard shortcuts. The primary keyboard shortcuts that I stick to a lot are all that can be done with just one hand, the left hand. The ones that can't, that I still use a lot, are Control KE for cleanup file and Control KD for reformat. So Control KE has the added benefit of removing unused usings and performing whatever cleanup stuff you have in your automated code cleanup step, which I don't remember where that is. Analyze code cleanup profile. Yeah, this. So it performs the steps from profile 1 with Control KE, and then Control KD. Yeah, Control Shift Space. Cool. I don't want to ignore your question. You can't make me. So yeah, Control KD, Control KE, Control ML to collapse everything or expand everything. Control MO for the overview, where you collapse all of the method bodies. And then to open that one again, Control ML, and then Control MM on a specific section of code that you want to collapse, and it will only do that section of code. I said, and it will, oh, because that one is not collapsible. It will only do that section of code. I should have said never mind. No, I would still not never mind it. I would still mind it quite a bit. I will always mind. Forever. You can't tell me what to do. You're not my mom. What else do I like? That was Control MM for specific sections, Control EW for line wrap. And the reason it's Control EW is because line wrapping is ill. That's how I remember it. I don't like line wrapping. It makes sense to have it though, especially when you are streaming code. It would make more sense for me to do line wrap. I'm going to leave it on for a while and see if I can get used to it actually. Control comma, one of my favorite ones, which is define any class or method usage. So for example, get lookup item. Oh, I love this so very much. One of the coolest things ever. Control semicolon to search your list of classes for a specific one. Or maybe you're looking by extension only. I want all of my CS files. I love that one. Control Q for tools, just like your Visual Studio Code one. where you can search for things like options, anything from your menu that you don't really know where it is. Uh, there. Then you can just type it into this thingy up here. So many good keyboard shortcuts to have. Control. I don't know what the original one is, but I always change it to Control D, and I don't know if that's default, but to duplicate a line, Control D. Alt arrow keys to move it around. Um, Control X when you don't have anything selected to cut an entire line. Control C when you don't have anything selected to copy an entire line. And like Scott just said, Control V to paste it in place. Just remember that when you Control C on a line, it's the line plus line break at the end. And you can be in the middle of any other line and it'll paste it above. And that can trick you up if you try to do it that way, which I love. And then all of the Alt-Shift commands, so Alt-Shift greater than symbol or period on your keyboard to select the next matching text for your multi-caret. Alt-Shift comma to undo your most recent selection. Alt-Shift semicolon to select all within that file that match what you have selected. I'm sure that there's more with the Alt Shifts that I can't think of. Alt Shift arrow keys to box select. That immediately turns into multi-caret after you stop box selecting. Control Alt click to add multi-carets wherever you want, anywhere you want, including selections. Alt Shift Enter. What's Alt Shift Enter? Oh, presentation mode. Right. You keep telling me about that one. Control Enter to insert a line above. Shift Enter to insert a line below, no matter where you are on the line that you are currently working in. So I use Control Enter a lot. A lot of a lot. What else is fun? Control D works for you? It's just you can do that with well, you can do Control C, Control V with one hand as well. Just 2 keystrokes. But still not a bad thing. One of my favorite ones that I use often is I'll queue up quite a few things in my clipboard because I know that I'm only going to be reusing those 2 things and not in the same place. I am going, I pasta the most recent thing and then Control Shift V to bring up my clipboard history. And then that gives me my other thing. So I think it's very similar to showing your clipboard with the Windows key, except that it's specific to staying inside of Visual Studio. And hello, live coding. No one is currently on the call, and we still have about 10 minutes, 20 minutes. So if you feel like hopping in, you're more than welcome to. You did have a take on me. Take me home. I'll be gone. But yeah, definitely no pressure. Just hop into a waiting room. Oh, you want Twitch glitch. I couldn't see Twitch glitch. I'm pulling you in, meow. Dukasoft kept singing. Hello, live coding. I was going to call you by your real name. It was awkward. You're muted? Are you serious right meow? Of course I am. I don't think he's ready to talk yet. He's saying, please hold.
All right, I was running from the browser.
From the browser.
I am running from the browser, but anyway, the browser gives you, asks you, can I use the mic?
Oh
And
yeah.
it's very clearly shown there. Anyway, yep. So you can call me Peter. That's my name. I will say, like, look, my channel name is weird because it doesn't have my name in it, but we'll figure out something when I stream the fourth time.
I still want to call you Live Coding though because it's more true.
Yeah. You can also say live COD. Like maybe my expertise is in, not, fresh COD. So, you go. Yep. All is well. So yeah, hotkeys. Y'all were talking through hotkeys.
I love hotkeys.
All right, are y'all ready? I have a take on this.
All right.
Control Q on your screen. It looks like.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
All right, this is my thing for everything in the world.
Mm-hmm.
The command palette, like.
That's what it's called. I didn't know it had a name.
They named it something weird in Visual Studio, but like
VS Code, it's called command palette.
Command palette, Sublime Text command palette, and randomly in Chrome command palette, and in Windows Terminal. So I've actually rebound this to Control Shift P, so I don't have to think about it. So I can just go everywhere and do Control Shift P to get to this spot. Yeah. But like command palette, it's huge. So I like, for example, where's your cursor at? It actually doesn't matter. Type the word fold, and then see if you can fold code from the command palette. Because like I am going to memorize the hotkeys for folding code.
I would be in here. I think it's called over. Dang it! It's called overview.
Goodness, there's so many. All right, well, that was a failure, and I do apologize. How about and format? The thing I do a lot is I format. What is it? Over? I don't see it. Right. I don't remember. Well, this is a complete failure on my part and my bad. The whole point was to say type the thing.
Yeah, anything you can do from your hotkeys, from picking it from the menu directly. Outlining is what I meant.
Okay. Sometimes great. It's great.
You just got to
but like, yeah. Sweet. Yeah, I don't. Yeah. But yeah, this is the thing. Like, command palette. Like, it has. Like, I have no idea where preferences are, but I can type, preferences or options.
Right.
Like, format code is one I use about every month.
Yes.
Like
once
all
a month,
these
though.
things. Yeah,
I do that like every day. Every 5 seconds, actually.
Yeah. Well, that's a different discussion, which I also love because I would love to have an auto. I think you pointed out there is an auto formatter.
Yeah.
So just on save.
Yep.
Yeah. Man, that's awesome.
Format on paste. I like that one. Oh, it's auto cleanup on save, which is the Control KE one.
So, I think the command palette is a thing that it's slowly getting better in Visual Studio, and like VS Code, it's perfect, of course, because they started with it, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, Visual Studio is getting much better at it. Oh, JetBrains has it. But
of course.
I mean, of course they got it. But no, like their IDE, some things they don't have, whatever. I don't think they have auto format.
Yeah, and some things they do have that Visual Studio doesn't.
No, we can't have that discussion. And yes.
Yes.
But honestly, like, yeah, for what I do nowadays, it doesn't matter. But in theory, it's a lot of stuff. Code made. Yeah,
I have it.
Is that an auto formatter? Do they have like a command line tool that'll just format all your stuff? Because that's fine too. We had my last gig. We had an architect who really liked CodeMade, but he only did it for his code. And it was like, man, you're the architect. Just tell us.
Yeah, make us.
We'll be forced to. Yeah, make us do it. Like, take a weekend and do that thing where you make commits to every file in the thing, and then just Anyway, whatever. It's fun. Yeah. And I think that CodeMade, he also did the alphabetical thing, which I really liked because
Oh yeah,
I
do that.
agonize.
Sortings.
Sort methods is the big one, right? Like
Oh,
sorting
sort
methods
methods. Yeah.
by. Because I always agonize. I want the top to be the constructor, and then I want the thing below it to be like one of the public methods, and then all the private methods at the bottom.
Yep.
But then, like,
Yep.
if they refer to each other, they should be close. So I have this whole like deep thing.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
if someone told me alphabetical, I'd just prefer alphabetical if they just told me that. So
just go right click.
Dukesoft, are you asking what a thing? Or I should call you Dukeysoft because you're not on the call. See, I'm allowed to do that. Just merge.
Smart trolling.
Yeah.
So what about the conversation about the crappy ways that I'm using generics?
I haven't been paying enough attention. I will say, like,
you had a discussion idea. Wait, what was it on? I'm pretty sure it was on this. And you were like, I'd be able to talk about that on a community call.
Yeah, I did say that, and now I've forgotten, of course, what I was talking about. But it was.
Was it our check-in process, our PR process with code reviews?
Dukesoft, I don't know what you mean by the constructor thing. We've been saying a lot of things, and I've not been paying attention to them. I've been
Getting the constructor as the first method.
That feels right still.
It does.
I hope they do that, even if it's alphabetical.
Like the only one that I've fallen into, because it's how it happened when you have it automatically create your backing field or your private fields, private read-onlys, is I put my private read-onlys first and then the constructor.
Yeah, that's a whole different discussion there, by the way. And y'all are doing XAML type stuff, right? So in XAML, we used to put the because every property getter had a backing field because you had to do the
I still put the backing fields underneath the constructor though.
Like I would put them with the properties, and that was like my one. Anyway, there's so many exceptions.
No, you're right. I was doing that. I agree with you. I don't know why I stopped doing that, honestly.
Just do what CodeMate tells you to do, or whatever formatter, like, and then you can stop thinking about it. You're free.
That shouldn't have been the case because I really haven't used CodeMate all that much.
Oh, okay, never mind. Well,
but I've been creating like here. My goodness, guys. I don't have any examples because this app is way too simple. But what I've been doing lately is having a region for my backing fields. And then all of my public properties that are implementing the interface are below.
And yeah,
yeah. So actually, that's kind of how I have this file.
And this is the other thing. We're talking about shortcuts still, right? So what?
Yeah.
What is your shortcut for opening the go to file box or whatever it's? So control comma, and then I think JetBrains lets you search for methods. Like you can search for methods. So this also makes the methods less important to put in the right spot because you could just like it used to be, it used to matter in theory because there was no tooling. But anyway,
we have so many things that were given for free.
Yep, that is my take.
I agree with your take.
Right.
You've gotten 12 points.
Thank you. You said you were going soon, so I will bail when you go.
Yeah, still got like 5-ish minutes.
Right.
I just like what I want to do right now is just show the flippin' project that I've been working on for so long because when the product owner was like, "You guys are moving slow. You need to move faster," and I'm like, so first of all, my role in this team was to implement a pre-designed UI. I did that in less than the amount of time that they asked for. And since I was able to do that, I was helping out with integrating all of the backend stuff into the new UI. So it wasn't even part of the original ask, and it was. Anyway, I could go on about that because it really frustrated me. I could not believe he said that.
We'll find a link and post it in your whatever Discord. There's a style of management. Anyway, we will not talk about it.
Why not? I want to complain.
Spanish management, nothing positive to say about it. But who knows? I want to talk really quickly about trying to map AutoMapper into entities. Look, Jimmy Bogard, the author of AutoMapper, basically disavows most usage.
Oh, right. That was a Broken Sword question, right?
Yeah. My whole point is, like, everyone uses AutoMapper for every layer to every layer, and it's kind of, he's like, look, just map entities to your view models or DTOs, and that's pretty much it. That is his opinion on the library he created. So the whole idea of like trying to get AutoMapper to map to a legal entity framework entity is kind of a iffy thing. Anyway, I will say in the past when I've had to do bulk updates on child objects, I would make a method on the aggregate root, and it would say, update children, or I forget, whatever widget, update widgets method. And you would pass in the new list of widgets, and then you would do a lot of manual code to just compare. Like,
right, yeah. Does this one already exist? But you can't do it by reference either. You have to do it by using.
You have to compare the two collections. You have to have the one that's on the entity and the one that's not, and the ones that get deleted, you have to delete from the entity, and then and then the ones that get added, you have to manually new up. And then the ones that are updated, you got to update. I don't know any better way, but everyone else I saw did it worse. So I like my style. Like, because, you're unhappy with that. You're like, there's got to be a better way to do this. And then you look around and you're like, well, everyone else's way is equally bad, but it has bugs.
Yeah.
So that was my take.
I implement tracking essentially on it, where I store the original values and then like there are two approaches that I can think of. One is super simple where you just have a is dirty flag, and as soon as you make any property change, regardless of whether you change it back or not, it sets the is dirty flag to true and keeps it as true from then on. The other way is by storing the old values and then having a big method that compares all of the original values to the new values, including the list comparison that you were talking about.
That's the Peter style, which gotta be the only way. Anyway,
it is the only way.
But it does feel wrong. It feels wrong, and it feels like, especially for really cruds, like it should have been done easily. And maybe someone who has a lot of EF experience, like a lot.
Yeah, I happen to know of a package that does this for you, and it was created by Nick Polyderopoulos, otherwise known as Nick the First One. And it's called Object Comparison, which will do full object tracking on every property, or whatever properties you tell it to be on, with an ignore flag, with collection tracking, and all of that. And all you have to do is wrap it in an object comparison or comparison tracker. It's written for us.
What else was I going to talk about? Nope. I got nothing. Wait, you were going to ask about your project, like the enums thing? And see, this is where, like, I have a lot of experience, but I don't have enough experience with these kind of generic factory type things. Like, I actually don't have that much experience. I would keep looking for other people's solutions because I don't. Like, I know how I have solved a similar thing in the past. Is just enum. What was your base T view model or something?
Lookup item view model, which uses this lookup list type as essentially the discriminator, is what I was hoping for it to be.
Yeah. So that so then you would make you would do this manually, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let me say this. I would do this manually because I don't have that
I mean,
many
I
lookup
just
types.
now finished doing it manually, so I'm
Okay.
going to follow along with you to see if this is the approach I took too.
So do you have a factory class or a factory method
Oh,
somewhere
no, I don't.
that well, the point is that generates
Ooh.
these lookup I don't take it as like, oh, you need to do this because this
No, no, no.
like
I'm willing to explore it because right now I think the way that I'm doing it is really crappy. And if
factory
using a
methods,
factory is less crappy, but if it is more crappy in my opinion, then I won't use it. But I want to
yeah.
explore it and make that
Okay.
decision myself.
So yeah, so you start with this enum, yep, and then you have some method that says generate me. No. Okay, who uses this enum? Where's your base type? Does your base
Right
type
here.
have?
It has
And by the
this
way, site
interface
window.
called I has lookup type that says whatever implements this has a list type, a lookup list type.
Okay, and I see. Yeah, I see that list type is the first property, right? So.
Right.
And then everyone sets it manually to just hard code it to this value,
But
etc.
it's really hard for me to do that because I haven't gotten that part to work. Or I'm sorry, I did. I did get that part to work. So yes, I did.
Okay. So that's good. And
Oh
so
yeah.
then when you say I want a new what's a specific implementer of this?
A
What's an
specific implementer would be a database entity called lookup blah. So lookup account type, for example.
okay, look up account. Okay, so can I look at the account type? I need to switch. Hold up, I'm switching to browser so I can. I'll be a clicker. All right, look up account type, base, and then you. Oh my goodness, I'm hear myself and I sound
Oh no.
more high pitched than I actually am.
Yeah, I
When
have
it comes
no
from
idea how you
inside
guys
the
put
body.
up with my voice because I hear myself on occasion. It's like,
Oof, that was rough. Good thing I muted myself. All right. Look up account type. This is fine. Okay. Where is the thing? How do you create a new lookup account type? This is what I'm talking about. Factory method.
I query it from the database.
Oh, you
So
query
yeah,
the
that's the
the
only time
database
that I'm
doesn't.
actually using this thing directly. There's
Okay.
another issue. The
Okay.
thing that's actually used in the application is the lookup item view model, which is also an abstracted base class, which I have open here. And it's not, I'm sorry, it is my generic class. This is what makes everything way too complicated and screwed up everything. But if you can see it whenever it shows up on your
I
screen,
see it.
I am
I'm
still
instant.
implementing I has lookup list type on it.
Okay.
So it's a lookup item view model that wraps any item and turns that item into a lookup item view model to be used in a drop-down list, essentially.
Oh, drop down list. So it has the key and value, or key and string, ID and
Yep.
string, I should say. Okay. Yeah, those.
And then, of course, to cache it in the browser, I also have a list item ID, which is going to be the primary key for IndexedDB caching.
Very nice. I'm just curious. Yeah, I'm just reading it like,
But
oh,
still,
interesting.
I think that your idea is good so far, what I'm understanding from how factories work. So this is the thing that needs to be generated when I do a query to give me the list of lookup items of this specific type. So that happens in my client-side service. This is where I'm asking for a new instance of that type.
So, and I don't move it. This
I won't.
is the content of the factory method, it looks like. This is what, I mean, a factory method by definition is a thing that that is a factory for something, that's pretty much the definition. By the way, I'm going to fail every interview if they ask about gang of four patterns. Anyway, so this is this is factory method. It's fine.
Okay.
Don't change it or move it. You can put a comment that says factory method.
Oh yeah, I have a notepad open. I will be.
I mean, like that's your acknowledgement. But yeah, the only Java people put the word factory in their names. Otherwise, it's shameful for the rest of us.
The main issue with this is I was doing it like this, but since I'm not providing a value for item when I'm instantiating this thing, my lookup list type, which is defaulting to item.list type, or not defaulting to, it is using my instantiated item of titem, that thing's list type, otherwise default to accounts. That isn't working because titem is null when I do this activator.create instance of lookup item view model of blah 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 blah.
Really You're sucks. Using activator create instance, and that's
of this class, of the class that is on screen.
This thing. Okay, gotcha. And then
which means that titem is not getting initialized.
Maybe use activator create instance, and you just oh goodness, no. Now I'm thinking. Now wait, you can say you could say new. Oh goodness, I'd have to take longer. You're trying to leave, and
No, you just gave me a great idea. So I took what you said at first as a partial thought, and I'm just defaulting titem to activator.create instance of titem. Since I know that titem is derived from class, so it's instantiable. I liked that idea. I'm gonna try that.
There is a generic parameter for like new. I think it's called new with parentheses or something.
Oh,
so you
really?
Can use a default. You can guarantee your thing has a default constructor via generic constraints.
A new titem. Kind of like if you did default of titem. But I don't want default of titem because I want it would end up being null. But new of titem.
Oh, actually, I don't. Is this new C# syntax? We're doing generics plus new C# syntax that I don't understand.
Yeah, I'm on C# 11.
Okay. I'm still excited about records. Excited about records and native tuple support. That was the last time I did C# programming. So.
Milkshake. Hello, Milkshake. Welcome to the chat. So I'm actually pretty close to the end of my stream, but if you want, you can take that question over to our Discord. We have a ton of people that would be willing to answer you, unless you have some answers for them right off the bat. Life coding.
I got a bad feeling about this.
Except Big Gamey has a bad feeling about this.
No, yeah. Throw it at, but you're quitting momentarily. You're quitting 3 minutes ago.
3 minutes ago, absolutely. Because I need to deliver this product by next Wednesday. And actually, I need to have it by next Tuesday.
Excellent.
My work product.
Right.
And then we'll release it. Yeah. But yeah, Milkshake Dukasoft did post a link that looks like it would help you out. Do you? Yeah, I would want to ask a ton of questions, or at least caveat all of my responses with, well, if you have this kind of knowledge, then I recommend this. So if you already have C# knowledge, then I recommend a guy by the name of Patrick God to teach you Blazor with his e-commerce course. If you don't know C# yet, then there's a YouTube video that's like 8 hours long that goes from 0 to hero. Yeah. Magic. So anyway, the derogatory question, is that the word? Derogatory question. When are you streaming next?
Oh, that's why. Okay, that's why the word is hard to find.
Obligatory
was the word I was
Get
looking
there.
for.
Obligatory? Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll get there. Let me just say I understand beginner devs a little better because I am struggling. Like, I cannot emphasize the amount of struggle it is to learn this stuff. Anyway, so life is a struggle. Programming struggle forever. That's all.
Did anyone actually? Oh, I guess Kilobit asked me what are the specs of my PC. Dukasoft gave some suggestions, but mine is 32 gigs of RAM, and it's only a what's the 1000 generation of graphics card? NVIDIA
Video 10 something or other. Is that what you're saying? Or
1080.
16?
Yeah, maybe it's a 2080.
Oh, are you saying your card is a 10?
Yeah,
Okay.
my card.
Ooh,
It's
fancy.
something low.
And well, the last two numbers are the 80 is the most important. Like the new 90s are like $1,500, which is crazy. Then the 80s, which people are very angry because they're closer to a 70. The new 80s are $1,200, and they should be cheaper.
Wow.
And, yeah, welcome. And then
That's crazy.
the 1,000 number is like the generation. So 1080, 2080, 30. Anyway, very easy once you've done it for about 5 years. Don't worry, they'll change it. They added the 1660, which was like mid-generation, and I have no idea what that one
I'm
was.
gonna get a Titan. Okay.
SLI it or whatever. We'll just buy a few just for spares. How about that?
True, Scott. Truth.
Are we actually fixing code? We're not doing.
No, he just had a quick recommendation, and I was thinking it was a good recommendation. Since I am defaulting to new I'm gonna still do activator.create instance.
Well, all right. So I actually meant very carefully that, but go. Oh, the item. Okay, line 9. At the end of line 9, put comma new.
Oh, that's the one. Oh yeah, I knew about that. That guarantees that T item has a constructor, or whatever the thing is that guarantees that T item has a constructor.
And you can ignore that. Anyway, now that we've said that, now ignore it.
No, you're right though. That guarantees that T item has a constructor. So then, does that mean that I can now call new T item?
I think so, but
yeah, I like that syntax so much better.
There we go.
Thank you. You and your ignore that BS. No.
Well, it's with stuff like this. Like I don't, I'm not sitting in the problem long enough. If we did like a 2-hour,
right?
Maybe I could figure out what's going on and then have real things to say. But I'm just like, hey, try this. I have no idea what's going on. I really don't.
I'm okay with trying things though.
Anyway,
I think that's gonna work though. I like it, but I'm gonna have to call it here.
All right, it's been real. Later.
Yeah, thanks so much for coming on though.
Bye.
And thank you all for being here. 90 makes sense for CAD. Yes, please. I will be doing a lot of AI and ML related things. So here is this screen. I am ending the stream now. I said I was going to end it an hour earlier. Not really said I was going to end it. I was thinking of ending it an hour earlier. BitGamey did come in, and what are you plussing, Scott? Don't get a Titan. They're for stupid people with too much money. I'm not getting any high-end graphics card. I'm not getting anything anytime soon. But yeah, I saw you come in. I did, and I wanted to say hi, but I didn't want to interrupt our guest, which was Live Coding. He's also a streamer, but BitGamey is a fantastic, really, really cool laid-back streamer that I love hanging out on his channel when he's streaming. I haven't seen you streaming lately. Maybe I just haven't been paying attention, but whatever you're doing, I hope you are doing well. But no worries about being here late, early, doesn't matter.
Just you showing up is really, really nice. Awesome. You took all of October off. Well, I look forward to being able to join in your streams, especially seeing the new revamp stuff that you were talking about that you did with your stream. It's going to be exciting. But yeah, that's going to be it for me for today. I am going to get back to moving at warp speed on my project. I got some feedback from my project manager saying, here are the things that we want to have done by the end of day so that we can be ready for Monday to build and then review and then fix anything by Tuesday. And it's like, we already talked about these things in a verbal discussion. And anyway, so I'm going to get back to that. I will do my best to remember to set my recording to export to YouTube's, and it'll post about 24 hours after I push the stop button. So if you missed any part of the stream and you feel like watching it, then it'll be on YouTube's. It's on VOD, on Twitch with chat playback, whatever it's called. But yeah, that's going to be it for me for today. Thank you all for being here. Hope you enjoy. We'll be back again on Monday, 10:30 a.m. Mountain Time, UTC -7 currently. I'm going to wait for a while. I'm going to turn the music up. I'm going to turn my microphone off. Bye.